Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Goomer22 here with another subscriber exclusive video because we know that nobody who's not already subscribed is watching this video. What I want to talk about today is another video on abilities, but I want to talk about passive abilities. And this is, I guess, a concept that I just kind of thought of. But essentially, what it is there are plenty of abilities that activate upon like doing something, like for example Beast Boost here. You get a KO, you get a boost. Or like Sheer Force, you attack with a move that has a secondary effect and you get a boost. So these are what I would call active abilities, like you have to do something to get the ability to work. But a passive ability is an ability that's just always working, essentially. And so I think, especially with how defensive Series 10 is, like you might want to just sit there and protect, and protect is a lot more useful outside of Dynamax too. So having abilities that work while you're just sitting there protecting, it can be kind of useful. And so I think it might be nice to have some of these on your VGC draft teams. So I'm going to go through all the abilities, what I call passive abilities, and talk about how useful I think they are and the mons that have them. My criteria for this, there's some of them that are a little iffy, but my criteria is essentially what's the most passive thing you can do is sit there and protect. So if you're protecting, is your ability doing something essentially for your ally or for yourself? So that is my criteria on what to call passive, quote, passive abilities. So the first one we're going to talk about is Arena Trap. So Arena Trap, you can sit there and protect, and your opponents are still stuck and they can't switch out. Your ability is still affecting them. So that's an example. You normally wouldn't grab Trap Pinch, although Trap Pinch is kind of interesting. One, for a meme, and two, I guess if you just had to grab some low tier. But it's got base 100 attack and it's 10 base speed, so it's underspeeding everything in Trick Room. And your opponents can't, switch, so you can still fire off a huge Earthquake. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, it does have Arena Trap, so they're stuck. Dugtrio and Diglett, you could maybe both use in draft depending on your tiering system. Diglett can be used to proc like weakness policies and stuff like that, but Dugtrio is maybe a little bit more viable. And Arena Trap's not bad. It really forces your opponent to think about their lead. So I think it's an interesting ability and on Dugtrio for that reason. Let's talk about Aroma Veil. Aroma Veil, really you would only use it with Aromatisse or Alchemy. And this is a really, really cool ability, especially on Aromatisse, because Aromatisse gets Trick Room, so you can't be taunted. And it protects yourself and your allies. So that's really, really nice, especially against like Prankster taunt Pokemon like Whimsicott, Tornadus, I think Tornadus gets taunt, yeah. So against those, it's really useful. Another thing is like it prevents, I think, Prankster Encore, so that's another thing that it could prevent. But overall, it just helps because essentially to stop Trick Room from going up, they have to get rid of you or fake you out, and so that's a really cool ability, I think. Next one, Battery. This one's probably better in a Dynamax format. But it gives you your ally Pokemon a 30% special attack boost. So it's giving them a free Life Orb. So especially if you do Dynamax, you do Life Orb and you have Battery, and you're getting a 1.61 or is that it? 1.69, I think. 1.69, percent boost essentially on or 1.69. Your moves are boosted by 1.69 power. So I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, just doing something like Helping Hand is better, but obviously if you use Helping Hand, your Pokemon is vulnerable, whereas Charger Bug can just protect, and your ally still gets that 30% boost without leaving itself vulnerable. So that's kind of neat. Something to think about. Another cool one is Cloud9. Cloud9 really messes with weather teams. Golduck, Lickitung, Altaria, Licky Drampa, all decent in draft. I would say it's cool on like Golduck, who can run a couple other abilities, um, and yeah, it's just it can really mess with weather teams, and it forces your opponent to, if they have a really strong weather mode, to maybe reconsider it or play around it. So Cloud9 always an interesting thing to have uh, on your Pokemon. And the thing is, Golduck can it can go in weather with Cloud9, or it can run Swift Swim and use the weather. So you get the power to decide whether weather is activating or not. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Another one which actually Golduck has here, we'll just click on it, Damp. Damp, I don't think is super useful. It does uh, prevent explosion moves such as Explosion, Self Destruct, Mind Blown, and Misty Explosion. Of these, I would say the most common are like normal gem, Explosion, Silvally stuff. Sometimes Gigalith will run like Explosion. And then obviously Mind Blown is sort of common on um, what's it? The Disco Ball, um, Blacephalon. So if you are facing a Blacephalon, running Damp with one of these Pokemon could be useful. A lot of these Pokemon have other better abilities, I would say, but some of them you might want to run Damp, especially like Swampert. Swampert could run Damp for sure. Um, you don't know if your opponent's going to be using self-destruct or explosion, so it is risky, but at least you don't have to worry about it if you do run Damp. So, yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Let's see. Next one. This one is the first one that's like iffy, like an asterisk next to it. Flare Boost. The reason being is you get a special attack boost by 50% when you're burned. And Drifblim gets this. Now, Drifblim, usually a lot of people run on Burden. But the thing is, what you can do is, like, you can protect and then have a Flame Orb activate and give you Flare Boost. So, like, and the reason I include this ability is as a passive ability is because you don't have to do anything. You can sit there and protect. You can attack. Either way, at the end of the turn, if you're holding a Flame Orb, you'll get your ability will activate, and then you can go from there and fire off big special attack moves. But again, I don't know that I would really use this on Drifblim that much. Maybe Dynamax, but like I feel like weakness policy Unburden is just better in Dynamax format. So maybe it's better on Dynamax. I don't know. Another one that's like a little bit iffy is Flower Gift. Flower Gift is unique to Cherim, and it only activates during strong sunlight. So again, it's got like a condition around it. But if there is like sun up, obviously you can just protect with Cherim, and your ally is still getting that attack and special defense boost. So that's really nice on a sun team. Obviously, Torkoal and Ninetales don't really use attack. I mean, the special defense boost is nice for Torkoal, but they're really not too physical. So, but regardless, you could like run Sunny Day on a Pokemon. Like so many Pokemon get Sunny Day, and then you can use Cherim, and it gets that attack and special defense boost. So that's pretty nice. Another one, which I think is definitely situational, but you've got Flower Veil. The only Pokemon right now you use it on is Comfey. Now the interesting thing is Comfey, most people just always run Triage. They never even consider Flower Veil. But the interesting thing about Flower Veil is ally grass Pokemon are protected from status conditions and lowering of their stats. Now that's key. So it's for grass type Pokemon. Okay, so when would you use this? So I think an interesting thing you can do is like, Rillaboom gets Grassy Surge, and that actually pairs up really well with Comfey and Flower Veil because one, Flower Veil prevents Rillaboom from getting intimidated. So now your Rillaboom always has, its attack. And then, or you could do this with Tapu Bulu. But the other thing that's cool is Comfey, its floral healing heals 75% in grassy terrain. So you're both protecting Rillaboom from being intimidated, and you can heal more with floral healing. And you have base 100 speed, so it's not like you're slow. Like you're going to heal your ally fairly quickly. So it's not totally necessary to be super fast with like Triage. But that's just a unique situation where you might use that. But again, you can just sit there with Comfey and protect them. Probably one of the best passive abilities, maybe the best, is Friend Guard. Now, in any normal situation, you would pretty much only see this on Clefairy. Cleffa doesn't get follow me, so you really wouldn't want to use Cleffa that much. You could actually use it on Jigglypuff, and just do annoying stuff like Ally Switch. And, normal Fairy, those both have an immunity, Ghost and Dragon. So you could do like annoying stuff and throw out Jigglypuff and Ally Switch and Sing and whatnot. I have seen it used in different leagues depending on the tiering system, but yeah, most of the time it would just be on Clefairy. But like Friend Guard is so useful. Like you can sit there, you can follow me, you can protect, you can help in hand, and regardless of what you do, if they are targeting your ally Pokemon, you're getting that damage reduction just for free. So that's awesome. Another one is Guts. This is similar to Flare Boost, right? If you sit there and just protect, you are getting that Guts boost after the turn's over. A lot of good users of it: Machamp, Heracross, Conk, Throw, Obstagoon, Flareon. You'd have to use Toxic Orb, but same thing, and then Luxray. So yeah, really cool. Because again, you can if you are going for somebody who wants to be a little bit faster, maybe your ally sets up Tailwind, like you have a Crobat or something. Maybe you set up Tailwind, and then with your Machamp or your Heracross or whoever, maybe you just protect that turn to preserve your health, and then you get this Guts boost at the end of the turn, and now you're fast. You got the 1.5 power boost, and you can just start smacking things. So yeah, that's another cool one. Let's see. Healer is an interesting one. So Healer, at the end of the turn, is a 30% chance of either ally being healed from a status condition. So Audino, Aromatisse, Hatterene, Blossom, Chansey Blissey. So some decent users of it here. And you could definitely run it over some of their other abilities, although they are pretty good. These are nice, because if especially with something like Aromatisse, even if you do get Trick Room up and you have a strong physical partner, maybe that they get burned or something like that. I don't know. You have a 30% chance at the end of the turn of healing your partner. Same with Audino if you set up Trick Room or Hatterene. But yeah, it's just kind of useful. And it's any status condition. So yeah, I think Healer is a pretty neat ability. Don't see it used too often, but again, you can just sit there and protect and hope that as each turn goes by, you get a better chance to get rid of that burn or paralysis or sleep, whatever it is. So, and that is something that's interesting. If you do if you are using a Pokemon with Rest next to one of these Pokemon, you could use Rest, and then you have a 30% chance of, after that turn, just immediately waking up. And so yeah, that's pretty cool in my opinion. Next one. This is a big one. Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod is so useful. And you've got Marowak, Rhydon, Rhyperior, Manectric, Togedemaru, Pincurchin, the Pikachu line, Seeking. So yeah, that's a really good ability, just protecting your water or flying type allies, and you get the special attack boost. So obviously it's better for someone who appreciates that special attack boost, like Manectric or Pincurchin or the Pikachu line. Even Seeking appreciates it, but yeah, that's really annoying for opponents who have an electric Pokemon that they want to smack you with, especially because with electric, Electro Web really doesn't. Not a lot of Pokemon get Electro Web, and then if you're going to go with Discharge, they have to hit their partner. So it's really hard to get around Lightning Rod, just because of the coverage moves that Electric gets. So that's really nice. Next one is another one of these asterisk ones, Marvel Scale. Milotic, you would really probably never use it on Dragonair because you could just run Eviolite and you would get that 50% defense boost and special defense. So you really wouldn't run it on Dragonair, and I've never even really seen Dragonair used in draft. But Milotic, you can sit there and get that defense boost, which is really, really nice because you just, you protect, you wait one turn. Now you've got base 125 special defense, 95 HP, and you've got 79 defense times 1.5. So, going to be pretty similar to your special defense. So you are just super bulky after you get that Marvel scale. If you're holding like a burn orb or a toxic orb or something. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Another one is plus and minus. So these are similar to like battery, right? So it boosts the special attack, but only if your ally has plus or minus as well. So plus, you've got Cling Clang, Toxicity, Dead End, and minus, you've got, again, Cling Clang, Toxicity, but you've got Manectric. So you've basically got like 4 Pokemon you can use: Cling Clang, Toxicity, Manectric, and Dead End. And yeah, there's some nice stuff you can do with plus and minus. I mean, obviously it's kind of limited to electric type Pokemon, except for Cling Clang. So a ground Pokemon sort of walls it, but again, just pretty neat. You can just sit out there and give your teammate a 50% special attack boost. The other interesting thing about all these abilities is I did that other video on switch-in abilities, like abilities that activate upon switch-in, like Frisk and Intimidate. And while these abilities, like, they don't activate, they're always happening. So they also sort of count as switch-in abilities because you don't have to do anything to like activate them. They are just immediately activated and always working. You switch in a Cloud9 Pokemon when there's weather, and the weather is just gone immediately. You switch in a minus Pokemon when you have a plus Pokemon out there, you automatically get that boost right away. It's not like you just have to be already sitting out there and protecting. You can also, these abilities are also nice because you switch them in and they're just, bam, working right away. Another one is Moody. Moody, you've got Artillery Glalie. This one is just super variable, and it lowers a random stat and then raises another random stat by 2 stages. So a kind of interesting, weird, just Japanese name, inconsistent. Yeah, that's exactly what this ability is. You're basically just praying that you get the stat boost you want. But again, on something like Artillery, it's kind of cool because you could run a mixed set with like an attacking move and a special attacking move, and then whether you get a speed boost or a special attack boost or an attack boost, like whichever one sharply raises, then you just use that attack. Same with Glalie because it's got base 80 across the board. But yeah, it's really sneaky because if you're boosting 2 stats and lowering 1, every turn you're essentially gaining a net +1 stat. So every turn you sit out there, you're just gaining stats. So if you can stall it out for a while, yeah, you can be an absolute menace. Next one, which is extremely useful, neutralizing gas, coughing, wheezing, and galarian wheezing. Yeah, this one's just phenomenal, especially in draft. Being able to turn off your opponent's abilities, it really helps with flow charting and being able to plan out your first couple moves, and just ruining with your opponent's strategies because a lot of them might revolve around their abilities, especially because in draft you have the opportunity to switch your abilities around. So you're obviously going to play with that to make sure it's most optimal. So just getting rid of that feature of the game can really mess with your opponents, especially if you have Pokemon on your team that really don't use their abilities that much. There are certain Pokemon who are pretty good, but their abilities kind of useless. A good example is like Starmie. Starmie has like 3 kind of not great abilities. So like, yeah, if you have neutralizing gas next to Starmie, it's like it's really not affecting Starmie that much, but it might be affecting your opponents a lot. So I think you pairing neutralizing gas with teammates, because I think normally obviously people pair it with an ability that's bad. So people think about pairing it with Regigigas or an ability like Defeatist on Archeops, which like if you're below half health, it lowers your attack and special attack. But if you pair it with a Pokemon that like doesn't really even use its ability, it's still almost just as beneficial because you're not losing anything, but you are gaining the fact that your opponents don't have their abilities now. So that's kind of cool. Another one of these Veil moves, Pastel Veil. Its unique ability to Galarian Rapidash and Ponyta prevents you from being poisoned. This one, I don't think is really that useful. I would probably rather run Anticipation on Rapidash, but you could use it in random scenarios. Maybe if you think you're going to get poisoned. I'm trying to think. The thing about it is, if Rapidash gets hit by a poison move, you're Fairy type, so like you might just die to the poison move anyways. So you wouldn't even have the chance to get poisoned. So yeah, I'm trying to think of when this would be more useful. It's, I don't know. Maybe if you were facing like a Toxapex and you wanted to attack them, but you didn't want to risk getting poisoned from Baneful Bunker. That could be like when you might use Pastel Veil, because that way Baneful Bunker wouldn't poison you. And yeah, other than that, I'm not really sure when it would be that useful. Let's see. Next one, Power Spot. This one is phenomenal. Where is it? Unique move of Stonejourner. But interestingly enough, it's like Battery, but it's just better. It increases the power of your ally Pokemon's attacks by 30%. So Battery only increases their special attack. Power Spot increases both physical and special moves. So it's just Battery, but better, because it boosts physical moves as well. And Stonejourner is phenomenal. I mean, obviously terrible special defense, but like really good attack and defense and HP and decent speed at 70. So yeah, just sitting out there and surviving. So like again, you're gonna probably want to run. You might want to run Focus Sash on it anyways if you are going, if you are just foregoing the special defense. But yeah, it's Stonejourner surviving out there a couple turns, throwing off big 125 power rock slides, and then while just giving your teammate a free life orb. That's amazing, because like, sure, Helping Hand is stronger than a 30% boost. It's a 50% boost, but you just waste your turn. You don't even attack, and you leave yourself vulnerable. Whereas Stonejourner, you're giving your opponent or your ally a free life orb, and you can attack, or you can protect. And so it's both. It makes your opponent have to guess mind games, and you can play defensive if you want to. So it gives you options. So it's just such a good ability. Another one which maybe isn't as useful is Pressure. Yeah, a lot of legendaries get Pressure. Some like Dusclops, but you would probably want to run Frisk. Spiritomb gets Pressure. That's interesting. Vespiquen, Weavile. Yeah, Wailord, Bisharp, you probably wouldn't want to use it. Corviknight, you probably wouldn't want to use it. A lot of these Pokemon have better abilities to use. But not always. I mean, there are some moves that are have limited distribution. So like in draft, if you're using a move with 5 PP and you PP max it, so it's 8 PP, then like you can only use that move 4 times. So if you think about it, if they attack, you protect. If they attack, you protect. That's 4 turns. You've only been hit by the move twice, and now they can't use that move anymore. So that's pretty neat. I would say common moves that only have 5 PP that people would use is probably like Water Spout and Eruption. I know there's probably a few more, but I still find it hard to think that people would run out of a move. Although, maybe like Stone Edge might have low PP. I'm not really sure. But yeah, with some Pokemon like that can heal up, like Zapdos with Roost, like if they let's say they do have like Stone Edge and they run out of PP using that, it's like, okay, well, now they can't hit your Zapdos very well, or Blizzard or something like that. Well, if you happen to survive it and heal up and waste out those turns, well, now they can't hit you, and you're pretty free to win from there. So that's kind of neat. Queenly Majesty, unique ability Serena, so good. I mean, it's essentially Psychic Terrain, but just for your side of the field. So you just can't be hit by priority moves. Just phenomenal. We see it in the current VGC with Kyogre a ton, but Serena's just a good Pokemon in general as well. And yeah, so basically the main thing is just being immune to fake out for your team. Again, really helps with flow charting and being able to get a game plan going for your opponent. Not quick draw, quick feet. Quick feet. You don't see it used too often, but your speed is increased by 50% when you have a status condition. So similar to like Guts and Flare Boost or Marvel Scale, but it's burn or poison, or whatnot. So you can use Toxic Orb or Flame Orb. The main users be Jolteon or Linoons. And so that's really, really nice because you can just sit there and with either Linoon or Jolteon, if you protect and you get that boost, you essentially have a Scarf, but you can use whatever move you want, including Protect, which is cool. So it's just better than Scarf in general. You would never need to Scarf these Pokemon, and and then you're outspeeding like everything in the format unless something else has a Scarf, essentially. So that's really, really cool. And yeah, Linoon actually gets a decent amount of support moves and options, so that's pretty neat. A really, really good ability there. Another one, Shadow Tag. Obviously, the main users are going to be Gothorita and Gothitelle. You could do some silly stuff with Wobbuffet, but in my opinion, in draft, Wobbuffet would mainly be abused, with something like Taunt or Encore, or, you have to make reads to actually hit someone, with Counter or Mirror Coat and whatnot. So mainly Gothorita or Gothitelle. Still pretty good. Both of these are pretty good in draft. They got some unique, or not unique, but they've got some cool moves. And Shadow Tag, since switching is so prevalent, it can just really, really mess with your opponent. If they lead poorly into a Shadow Tag, and you can also use that to your advantage because that they're going to have to lead something that doesn't get just destroyed by Shadow Tag, because if they lead something and you lead Gothitelle and another Pokemon that just destroys them, they're not willing to risk the game on turn one, or they shouldn't be. So you can use that information to your advantage as well. Steely Spirit, unique ability to Berserker, increases you and your allies' steel moves by 50%. This one is nice, except obviously you get the boost, which is probably the more important piece, is that Berserker gets it. Your ally gets it. Now, if you do have two steel Pokemon out there, it obviously opens up the door for your opponent to just use something like Fire or Ground and, smack your side of the board. But, you could do something like Delmise is kind of interesting because Delmise gets Steel Stab, but it's not Steel type. But yeah, this essentially gives your teammates Steel Stab. So I guess it could be neat if you are using a Pokemon that wants to throw off a Steel move. And obviously Berserker can just protect, or it can even fake out the first turn while its ally is still getting that 50% boost. So that's pretty neat. Next one, really, really good, is Storm Drain. Similar to Lightning Rod, obviously. You got Gastrodon, Credillia, Maractus. You could even use Lileep. So decent users of Storm Drain. The thing is, water. I would say that Lightning Rod is a little better than Storm Drain because Storm Drain, you have the option to run Muddy Water, which, and I think a little bit more, has a little bit more distribution than Electro Web does, and it's a little stronger. So I would say that Muddy Water gets around the Storm Drain, and so it's not as useful, but still a really good ability, and all those Pokemon like having a special attack boost, so that's pretty cool. And again, not a bad ability to force your opponents to prep for. All right, we're getting down to the end here. Sweet Veil, another last of these Veil moves. Slurpuff usually likes to run on Burden, but Alchemy it's not bad on. And then same with Rubombi and Serena. But it prevents you from falling asleep. This is really good if you're facing a specific Pokemon like Butterfree with Compound Eyes and Sleep Powder, or like a Milotic who likes to coil and Hypnosis. So, um, yeah, just really good against certain Pokemon who like to put you to sleep. Maybe even like Umbreon who likes to use Ikion. So yeah, any Pokemon that commonly runs sleep moves, I would say running Sweet Veil is a decent way to counter that. And I'm pretty sure if they yawn you and then you switch in Sweet Veil, you since you have to fall asleep that second turn, I think you won't fall asleep. So Sweet Veil is nice for that too. Um, and yeah, the last move or the last ability is Unnerve. Unnerve, I think, is really, really cool in draft because, again, you just sit there and they can't use any of their berries. And there are a ton of different berries that could be used, especially like resist berries, um, healing berries like citrus berry, um, or just any number of like weird berry that they might want to run. So yeah, Galvantula, Corviknight, um, Persian Aerodactyl, Tyranitar, Vespiquen, Haxorus, Beware. So a lot of good users of Unnerve. And yeah, I can really throw your opponents off, especially if they're counting on a resist berry to survive some hits. Unnerve makes that really, really annoying. So, yep, those are all of the passive abilities that I counted. I went through all the abilities, and that's what I found. So, yeah, again, my criteria was just if you're sitting there and protecting, is your ability doing something for you or your opponent? Oh, wait, there was one. There's one I missed actually. Speed boost, which Ninjask, Blaziken, Sharpedo, and Scolipede get. Obviously, it's similar to Quick Feet, but you don't even have to run Flame Orb. You just protect and you get a +1 speed boost that turn. So that's amazing. Yeah, and really good users of it too. These speed tiers, like even 95, 80, you get one speed boost and you're outspeeding like everything. Ninjask, you already outspeed pretty much everything, so it's like it's not as useful on Ninjask, obviously, but still pretty neat. And yeah, just the ability to sit there and protect and gain speed, just for free is really useful. Obviously, your opponent can make a read and um, go for their own boosting move, but it forces mind games on your opponent, and that can be really frustrating for them. So, yeah, that is all the abilities. Um, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if you have any other ideas on videos you want me to make about abilities or other stuff like this, let me know. And if you're enjoying the content, let me know as well. I never know if these videos are useful for people, but they're just interesting things I like to think about, so I like to share them with you guys. And I will probably grab some of these Pokemon on my next draft team, because I think some of these abilities are really, really useful, especially just the fact that you can protect and then they can work. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Peace out, and we will see you all later.